Well, hello, this is Devdash. My presentation is called From Pictures to Debate, and I observed a pre intermediate adult English lesson and analyzed it from an SLA perspective. The lesson was built around transport, especially rickshaws, special transport in Bangladesh, and it moved from pictures and uh, vocabulary into reading, group planning, and a final role play debate. So, my main argument today is that that the lesson was like successful and because it balanced three things like meaningful interaction, attention to language, and supportive feedback style. So I'll first explain the purpose and method of the observation. Then I will briefly describe the class and the lesson flow. After that, I will discuss three findings: interaction and scaffolding, noticing, and input processing, and corrective feedback with the willingness to communicate. So I will finish with critical feedback and explain how the findings connect to my own teaching practice. Yeah. So uh, for the purpose and methodology, the purpose of this task is to analyze a real language lesson, not only describe it. So I used an ethnographic and COLT informed observation approach. This means I looked at classroom behavior in context, such as who speaks, how students participate, and whether the activities are communicative or mainly teacher led. So my data came from the full recorded lesson, the transcript, and my time coded notes. I grouped the notes into three themes: communicative interaction, noticing, and input processing, and feedback with confidence. So this helped me move from simple observation to SLA analysis. Slide number 4, observed class and setting. The class was a small pre-intermediate adult English class with around 6 multilingual learners. The lesson used life pre-intermediate material, and the topic was transport, especially rickshaws in India. The classroom layout was important because it was not a static course book lesson. The teacher placed transport pictures around the room for a gallery walk. Then learners sat for reading and group planning, and finally moved into a larger circle for the play debate, for the role play debate. Yeah, this physical movement helped make the lesson more active and communicative. This slide shows the lesson sequence. It started with a gallery walk where students named transport pictures and guessed countries. Then the teacher elicited vocabulary and supported pronunciation. After that, students completed reading tasks and used textual evidence. And later they planned for and against arguments and used those ideas in the role play debate. Finally, the teacher gave delayed feedback from an SLA perspective. The important point is that students were not pushed into a difficult debate immediately. The lesson built input vocabulary and ideas first, then moved toward output. So, finding number one, my first finding is that the lesson was strongly communicative, but it was also carefully scaffolded. Ortega explains that interaction can help second language learning because learners receive input, produce output, and uh, negotiate meaning. This was clear in the gallery walk, group discussion, and role play debate. El Carfa also connects communicative teaching with meaningful language use, not only memorization. A strength of the lesson was that the teacher created many opportunities for students to speak to each other. However, it was not completely learner controlled. The teacher chose the topic, shaped the tasks, and gave support. I see this as appropriate because uh, pre-intermediate learners often need structure before they can speak confidently. The second finding is about noticing and uh, input processing. The teacher helped learners notice vocabulary before and during the reading. For example, she elicited transport words, model rickshaw, and taught adjectives such as busy, noisy, quick, polluted, and highly populated. So this connects with the cognitive view of SLA because learners need to pay attention to language before it can become intake. So Lightbone and Spada argue that learners benefit when language is made understandable and while meaning is maintained. So this lesson did that well because vocabulary work was connected to the topic and the later debate. So my suggestion is that students could have written or spoken one personal sentence with the new adjectives, so the vocabulary became more student owned. The third finding is about corrective feedback and confidence. During early vocabulary work, the teacher gave immediate support when students needed it, but during the debate, she did not interrupt every grammar mistake. Instead, she monitored, wrote down examples, and gave delayed feedback afterwards. This is a this is a important because this is important because feedback is more useful when learners actively engage with it, not only hear correction from the teacher. It also connects with willingness to communicate because anxiety can reduce speaking in this lesson. Students continued giving long answers because the teacher protected the flow of communication. So my improvement would be to include good examples too. If students see successful language on the board, not only errors, it can support confidence. Overall, the lesson had several successful factors. The teacher transformed a reading lesson into an active sequence. He used meaningful debate roles and used delayed feedback in a supportive way. At the same time, there are limitations. Some board work was still teacher led. The teacher had to guide many states closely, and pronunciation could have been recycled more after the first modeling. So, my recommendations are practical. First, ask learners to produce their own short examples with new words. Second, include successful language in delayed feedback. Third, end with a short peer reflection, such as one phrase I used well and one phrase I want to improve. So this observation is useful for my future teaching because it shows that learners need both freedom and structure. Before a speaking task, I will build vocabulary ideas and clear rules. During speaking, I will monitor and take notes instead of correcting every mistake. After speaking, I will use uh, delayed feedback, but I will include both errors and successful language. I will I will also try to create a classroom culture where mistakes are treated as normal parts of learning. So my main conclusion is that a strong SLA lesson balances meaning focused communication, attention to language, and emotional safety. So these two slides showing the references used in the presentation. Yeah, thank you for listening. I'm very happy to answer any questions about the observation lesson, the SLA theories I used, or the recommendation I made. Thank you. Thank you so much.